All right, my name is Zaid, and this is going to be my third option A assignment. And I've decided to kind of look over one of my favorite films, Pulp Fiction, and focus on some of the suggestive use of lighting, uh, some of the camera angles that really make up a lot of what we as the viewers see in this film, and kind of adds an extra level of drama to the film, and the cinematographic aspects of this film, the mise en scène, uh, the the costumes and the props in this film uh, really do a lot that make this film what it is. It's just a masterpiece in my mind, anyway. And I wanted to start out with this scene here, and it just shows how some of the props and the camera kind of gives us a little background into one of the characters, Vince, here. And let's see here. I'm just going to start here. And this scene has to do with heroin, which is just an absolutely terrible drug. And you see this black bag that he carries around. Most heroin addicts have some sort of bag. They're usually just filthy and disgusting. And you see how that camera angle on the back shows Vincent's state of mind under heroin. And you see this disgusting needle. It just shows what a disgusting habit this is. And that spoon really just creeps me out. I just hate watching that. But it really just shows, and this driving scene, and the look on his face, in this scene, it just shows the lengths that heroin users are willing to go, and for people that have never done it and normally aren't around it, it gives us an idea of the mindset of the heroin user. And this is really the lighting in this, how it's darker on his face, and he's just got this weird look on his face. Really tells you everything you need to know about that drug. Now I'm gonna go back here a little bit. All right, now this is one of my favorite scenes. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of dialogue here that you don't really notice. Well, I didn't notice anyway until after I read some things about cinematography in this class. Um, First of all, just the costuming here. It speaks volumes about kind of this superiority and the inferiority of some of the characters. Now, Samuel Jackson and Travolta are dressed up in like suits, so they're kind of professionals with their, I guess, business partners who are just dressed casually in the morning. And another thing that I found interesting in this particular scene was the level of the cameras here. That's really cinematic language, and it shows us the superiority of Samuel Jackson and John Travolta here over these so-called business partners. Now, there's a couple angles here that have like a tilted view. Like here, you see Samuel Jackson is kind of, the camera's tilted up towards him and down towards Brett. Now just eating his food and drinking his drink. It really tells us a lot about what's going on here in this scene. That these two are in complete control. You don't see any weapons other than the one that's kind of prominent on Samuel Jackson's waist. But other than that, it's just their attitudes and the screen language that shows us really, I guess, who's in charge. And along with the camera angles here, there's an upward trajectory. Here it's downward. There's Vince in the back smoking a cigarette, kind of nonchalantly, never asked to do so, just in some person's house. How often would that happen? That would never happen. And he's also kind of antagonizing him and I guess talking down to him in a way. He's eating hamburgers for breakfast, kind of like mocking him in a way. And it's really degrading, especially this, just taking a guy's drink. This is all cinematic language that is designed to show us, the viewer, who's boss. Now, this guy, he plays a very small role, but an important role. His entire role is just to show the fear on these people's faces. The business partner, he looks terrified there. It's the only thing we ever hear from the guy. He's just completely terrified. And, I don't like to get into what is in the briefcase. There's a lot of theories. A lot of people have different theories. But it's not really what's in the briefcase that's important. It's actually John Travolta's look on his face right here, where he's just mesmerized by this glowing light. We don't know what it is. We'll probably never know what it is. But it's just the fact that his face made this, it just had this aura around him where there's something really important in there. And that's all we really know. Now this angle right here, and I want to pause it here. This angle really shows us a lot. It looks like Samuel L. Jackson's literally standing on top of the guy on the couch. And he's in the forefront. It kind of looks like, but there's an upwards look to him. Brett's sitting down. The guy in the back on the far right, he's kind of with them, so he might not be as afraid, I guess. So he's kind of on the same plane. And this kind of goes back to the rule of thirds. You have the two guys in the middle and the two guys on the side that have a lot to do with this entire scene. So I'm going to go ahead and forward to another part in the film. Alright, and this is another favorite scene of mine. And up until a month or two ago, I didn't know what this was, but this is actually a tracking shot, and they're tracking Butch, or Bruce Willis, back to his apartment so he can retrieve his gold watch, and there's a whole story behind that. But this scene and the camera work really serves to drum up a lot of excitement and mystery in the crowd or the audience that's watching. And they're just tracking him as he's kind of making his way the back way through his apartment. And essentially he's watching out for gangsters that are out to get him. So for all he knows, there could be gangsters following him and watching him. So he creeps down. You kind of see the camera creep down to behind him as he's moving towards his apartment. And effectively what it's showing us is what Butch is seeing. And he's just kind of staking out the entire apartment complex, just kind of making sure that everything is safe. I'm just going to forward here a little bit. Alright, and this again is another exciting scene in this film, and it really makes a lot of use of lighting of the character's face, and that lighting really projects a lot about this film. What I've noticed almost in the entire film, there's this lighting that Tarantino does to each character, or each kind of, I guess, evil character or malicious character, that they have two scenes to themselves. And you'll see here Bruce Willis has like a dark side of his face and a light side of his face, and he's going into unknown danger. That's why that camera, or that key going into the lock, is just so nerve-wracking. And again, you see his face is kind of, it's just half dark, half lit, same inside. He doesn't know what to expect here, but the coast seems kind of all clear. So he grabs a watch, and now I know when I first saw this, I was thinking, man, you better start running. You got your watch, just leave. But no, he goes into the kitchen, you kind of see the expression on his face where he thinks he's gotten away with this, and it's just so incredibly funny here. Just making pastries while there's an actual assassin in his house, and I never noticed this here either. Again, you could see Bruce Willis's face is kind of darkened now. He knows that something's up. We don't know yet, but now we see, okay, there's a automatic submachine gun in his house, so he knows the assassin is here. And there's this great point of view shots between the two characters, between the assassin and Butch. And right here, Vincent Vega looks up and he knows that he's in trouble. There's another point of view. There's another point of view. And it seems that every time, there's several occasions in this movie when people come out of the bathroom and something bad happens. Invariably, something bad happens. First, Vincent, on his date with Mia, he's talking to himself in the bathroom. He comes out to find her OD'd. This time he comes out of the bathroom and he finds that he's being shot. And it's this panning of the camera from his feet up to his face, and it's just a really dramatic and traumatic view, actually, of a guy who, we didn't really know much about. If you've seen some of his other Tarantino's other movies, we know that he's the brother of another kind of bad guy, and now doing something totally evil here, washing his fingerprints off everything. You see kind of the darker side to Butch, where he really has no morality. His face is darkened, and he kind of slips out unscathed. Again, he's kind of like casually walking out, and when this movie came out in the crowds, they were telling him to run. Literally, people were shouting out, "Run!" But that's not what Quentin Tarantino does here. He specifically probably tells him, just stroll out normally, and it creates just an insane amount of excitement, in the crowd and with the audience. And it all really just has to do with how the character acts and how the camera follows him, and what he sees, and as the camera kind of follows him around. And I guess that's about it. And I loved adding this song in there. It's really a happy song. Yeah, I heard it. Well, I've enjoyed making these projects, and thank you for watching. Take care.